From what we seen yesterday of Coastline inside of Brazil, that was between NIP and Liquid, is that VIP area of the map seems to be the kind of go-to spot for a lot of people now, Ollie. We're seeing a lot more holds. We're seeing, I think yesterday we seen the Thatcher ban, and that's where Kaid kind of took over the entire game, and then teams were forced to pick Maverick. That Thatcher ban just makes that VIP hold just a little bit more safer now.
It does, especially with Kaid in play. Already yesterday, you mentioned we saw that wall being heavily vied for. And just the nature of Coastline as a map, there seems to be a lot of nice electrical placements that you can get for that wall. Obviously, the wall is new. It came out inside of this operation, should I say. We can't call them seasons anymore. Came out inside of this operation. But there are so many places you can hide that electrical. You can go downstairs into kitchen. We all know that kitchen is, while it looks like a nice kitchen, it's a bit of a mess. You like kitchen,
but you were quite angry that NIP didn't play kitchen.
I mean, the kitchen's a bit of a mess, Demo. There's stuff everywhere. There's a lot of clutter. So there's loads of places to hide things. And that's where you're going to throw the electricals. So maybe we get to see that today. No Kaid being picked just yet, but instead we are going to get someone that you've been fairly critical of, Demo, up until this point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's she's not good. I don't think she's that good. Sure, has a nice kit. Definitely has a nice loadout. But I think the gadget, again, there's other operators that you probably would want to have. You look at this lineup, you're probably thinking a bit of drone denial. I'm not seeing a Mozzie. I'm not seeing a Mute. Those are kind of two staple operators that we see quite a lot on Coastline. We're not seeing them here, so maybe that's where INTZ can maybe take advantage of that and can really use their drone work. But overall, I just think the healing stations, you really don't get your value out of them. I don't think we're seeing any real moments where they won that round because of that. They won this round because of this. Obviously, I know we haven't had too much aimed out of that, but from talking to other professionals and talking to other people, they think that you're gonna have to try and force to make it work, and it's just not worth it.
I think the biggest problem is one that we're seeing right now. You look at Fowls and Lukid, they've both been healed up by the healing station. They're full health. They don't need it at that point in the game. And that means that there's a likelihood that there's going to be a time when there isn't a charge available in the healing station because somebody full health has walked past and been zapped, and then somebody lower health walks past and there is no charge available. So I think, for me, that's something that I've often thought about with them as, you can play them inside, that's great, but if you're just constantly soaking up those shots, then they're not going to be there when they're needed. But we'll get to see inside of this round at least, and maybe further on into the game if they're going to have any significant impact. For the time being, there's no rotation there for Lukid to work with, so we're just going to have to sacrifice that wall and accept that it has been opened. And now INTZ can continue to hold on to those players at the top of Cool Vibes.
Trying to take in towards the hookah side of things, which, fair enough, it does give you good access to that 90, and typically what we've seen for the Penthouse and Theater Bomb site is a lot of teams will try and hold in towards 90. I think we've seen Castle be played quite a lot yesterday as well to try and assist with that. Shields are always going to be a factor, so there definitely is going to be things you have to try and check. But at the moment, it's playing it fairly slow. No kills as of yet, which is strange for Coastline. I say that though. Hornetal, he will strike first. Zach also coming in towards Aqua side of things, and that gives him that avenue straight into Billards, and now they have their control that they want. Jackal, great pick, Ollie. Oh, that's timing in a nutshell, Ollie.
Great trade, though.
Gets eliminated. I mean, that's rough for Luke. That's rough, I think, for VNX right there. The fact that goes for the footprint and straight away Lukid swings. That is rough.
A little bit of a bait, but a good trade. Hornetal was there in the right place at the right time. So despite a lack of pressure, there is an advantage here for INTZ, especially given who they have removed. Let's see how they're choosing to press that now. Redux has got an angle that he can work with in through VIP, and he's actually going to get a little bit aggressive onto that beautiful ring around the rose. He is able to take down Vitz. That is a kill that will not be traded. Drunk's only now just getting himself onto this big rappel. It feels like it could be a little bit too little too late. Zach, he has to go big inside of VIP, and he'll do just exactly that. Hornetal finds his third on the round and leaves a lot of work for Felipox to do. His location was known, and Zach flies on through, picks that kill out of theater, and into successful here in round one.
Penthouse and Fear not working for MIBR. Ollie, a bomb site that we've seen played very heavily by NIP yesterday, and it did not have a good success rate. Apart from one round, and even at that, there's
creation for it.
And teams haven't really struggled too much with getting in towards VIP, even though we're seeing Thatcher's being banned out. You would expect to see the denial. MIBR, even with that, not even looking to try and go for denial, which is a bit of a surprise. I would say, again, I think Mute would be a great hand for them. I think it really slows down INTZ and their droning. Look how quick INTZ were able to get in towards Hookah just off of the drone work. You need to have something to stop that. We know how important drones are in the meta, Ollie, and especially whenever Flora is being brought as well. This makes it all the more reason why to bring it.
A Mute really is a staple pick, and it's nice to see Philippox.
It's nice to see it out now. Like,
it's nice to see Philippox bring it this time, and I think, you know, MIBR, they've chosen quite a different lineup here compared to what they chose inside of round number 1. So there's potential there that they've recognised, you know what, we need to lean into things that we know to work a little bit better here in order to get the job done, because INTZ, again, it's a team that can't be underestimated. They very much are capable of picking rounds up, especially if you give them any sort of opportunity, and they were more than willing to take their own opportunities inside of that previous round. Hornetown had a massive round. 3 kills. Zach as well, picking up 2, fulfilling that entry frag role exceptionally well. I mean, I don't think he actually got the opener. I think it was probably Hornetown that got the opener, but still being in a position to deal out that damage is very important indeed. So we're going to see the drone game now as it kicks off, attacking over into double bar.
Once again, this drone game being applied by MIBR. Not as heavy as what you would expect, but still just something that INTZ have to try and go up against above. That's where I think the Jackal can prove so big, and as I say about the Jackal, we're going to see Reduct get pinged out by the Inox scanner. We'll send him back, but they know about Lucan though. They know about one roamer. What about the second? That's the question. So again, INTZ looking to try and clear above in towards Hookah, maybe trying to get in the sledge and start remodeling that rooftop above the site. Blue Sunrise does resolve quite a few issues that I think for attackers is the fact that once you get above, it's very easy just to clear anyone behind Sunrise, which is a very staple anchor position. You can see Fowls in that exact position is great for holding down Sona, but if he can't play there, that smoke is going to be invalid, really, Ollie.
Fowls does look like he's under a little bit of pressure, especially with the Rotero drones that are coming in. Drunk still has one of those to his name and can look to maybe get that off. The Excalibur pellets are not going to be successful there as they do get soaked up on the sauna wall. Zach looking like he's above, ready to pounce. Hornetown still ripping up this floor. 20 seconds left now, and we're going to see some action start to occur. Fowls, he's going to kick things off, taking down Vitz. Diffuser carrier down as well, means a lengthy rotation for Hornetown in order to retrieve. Now there's only 10 seconds left, and numbers are dwindling here for INTZ. Hornetown, he has to make a big entry here, but he's going to be met with the shotgun of Philippox, loses the engagement, but the time, fortunately for MIBR, is going to do the rest.
And time against INTZ at that stage. Didn't really know where they wanted to go. They didn't commit to Sunrise, and they were looking at maybe going Blue Bar. Just really all over the place, Ollie. And I think for Sunrise and Blue Bar, we've seen that a few times where teams, they try and go one way, but then they kind of double guess themselves and think, that's not going to work, we have to go somewhere else. And by the time then you rotate and you set up again, you're really running against the clock, and that's kind of what happened to INTZ at that stage. I think if you're going to commit, just commit to one side and go for it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But changing ideas up in the last second aren't going to work, especially whenever there's still roamers on board for INTZ who can rotate into good, or just say MIBR, can rotate into good positions and can really stop you from trying to make your plays.
All level now at 1 round apiece. MIBR found a little bit of confidence there, but they have returned, Demo. The return of Penthouse and Theatre. There is obviously something addicting about this site for teams because they just love playing it. We've seen Coastline twice this week and this weekend so far. It's the only map that we've had.
My word.
I mean, it's been a long week. It's the only map that we've recurred. It was the first map yesterday in our first game, and it's the first here today. So we've not seen it as much as, you know, sometimes. I mean, we saw Coastline like 3 or 4 times in 1 week. It was really nuts. But in terms of site selection, this feels like it's been the most popular site so far, and I dread to think, I'm going to look up after the weekend is done, but I dread to think the win rate for defenders here in Penthouse and Theatre, because it isn't great at all.
I want to say that Liquid defended twice. I think NIB defended like 4 times, and I think only 1 round was won. So that would be what, a 1 in 6. Already then we're having this be defended again. We've already seen that be 1. So what's that? 7 times played, 2 wins? Not the greatest. Could be 8 times with 2, and that's even worse. A quarter win percent, 25%. That's really low.
It certainly is. I mean, especially considering the other sites that are here. You know, we haven't even seen
Hookah yet.
The good old Hookah Billiards be, you know, brought out today by, I mean, it's early days, round number 3, but just the fact that they're going back to a site that they were unsuccessful on before it obviously shows that they've got something that they feel could go a little bit differently. And the big change that I can see initially is Lukid. He's actually able to pick the kill up this time, but more importantly, that wall is electrified. That was something that didn't happen previously, and therefore the wall was given up extremely early on. Now that's forcing more problems, as not only is Hornetow down, but Zach is struggling to have the assistance to push on through as well, and is feeling like he's pretty pinched at the moment. Redux going to thread the eye, and he's finding the kill over onto Zach. Now things really are starting to fall apart for INTZ, as regardless of the control that they've got inside of VIP with a great shot coming out of Vits, you do wonder, is it going to be enough here? A lot of time has been spent so far.
Still have a bit of utility though. They still have these drones that can get in and try and explode any utility that's still lurking. Bulletproof's gonna go down. Hope so. They should be able to reach it. MIBR are happy enough. They've got their kills. They have the man advantage. All they need to do is just really keep a hold of that. DNX ready though for Lukid on those backstairs. Lukid was a very hot subject a couple of months ago. He was the player to watch for MIBR, and he still has that element of you give him any breathing room and he's just gonna run all over you. So watch out for Lukid. Right now, Ollie, MIBR have the smokes. They have those walls still being able to peek from. It's looking good for them.
It really is. There's 25 seconds left remaining here. The diffuser will be recovered. Fowls is able to cut off that angle with the Toxic Babe canisters into Hall of Fame, and he's going to make it very difficult. Drunks is going to start to bait out this plant. There is information for Vits, and he's going to try and act on it. Finds the kill and comes in with the second. Drunks! He hits the player inside. MIBR, how have you let that one slip?
Wow. Very, very surprising from MIBR in that round. Ollie, one thing that you'd like to highlight is the double window is a massive part of how the attacks play out. Nobody goes that double window. Nobody went there. That was an easy rotation for any of the defenders, and you do question why they didn't try and abuse that. They looked as if they tried to fight the angles in towards 90, in towards VIP, rather than realistically just swinging that bedroom. You knew exactly where the diffuser was going to be. That's like the only place you can safely plant. It's an easy pre-fire, and even the smokes, you have to kind of question, you know, why are the smokes not hitting their targets?
Well, the smokes weren't hitting the targets. Vits was allowed to get away with bloody murder. He got 2 really important kills there. MIBR just not willing to sit on the hands and wait the time out, instead going for those challenges and losing those engagements. Really crucial stuff there that, for all intents and purposes, that round had played out really well for MIBR. You could see their reasoning and their rationale for going back to that site. They had the adaptation and the change. Lukid said, look, I got pushed too early on Cool Vibe Stairs. I need a bit more support there. I need some more utility. Bang. electrify the wall into Hookah, and all of a sudden Lukid is safe. It then forces Hornetal to push in. Lukid wins the engagement, and MIBR are like, right, now we're talking. We can start this round, because the thing that really screwed us up last time is now no longer a problem. Slowly but surely they retreat back, and then they just give it away with challenges.
MIBR will take up the kitchen bomb site next. Haven't seen them here as of today. In terms of how they're holding, if they're trying to hold nearly everything, Ollie, they've got one lone man on site, which, to be fair, yesterday we seen Liquid get caught out by that. Only having one guy in bomb site does make it pretty easy for a team to simply flood the bomb site and go for a quick rush. MIBR are almost trying to hold everything. They're trying to hold in towards VIP, in towards Fear. They're trying to hold in towards Billards. Lukid will get a kill from said Billards. Drunks is gone. The floor is gone. Massive bit of utility off the board for INTZ. MIBR really playing their own game.
Wrong game is on point here for MIBR, coming away with a successful opening pick there. But as we've seen, that isn't an indication as to how these rounds are going to go. There's still a lot of opportunity here for INTZ. Information there available for Zach, as he is able to push the player out. But Felipox, like a guided missile, heads over into blue. Is able to take down the player on Cool Vibe, but Zach comes in with the trade. A little bit late, and more damage has now been done. Hornetal, he hasn't done too much since that really good start that he had in round number 1, and has since been shut down at every turn. MIBR still hold an advantage here.
The thing with INTZ that they have to realize is the more time they waste trying to hunt these roamers, and that just means that the smoke is gonna become just an absolute monster in the bomb site. We've seen so many times where a simple Toxic Babe can kill every bit of momentum the attackers are trying to establish. INTZ are going to try and look for a sneaky approach in towards security, perhaps from Zach. BNX, toss out a smoke grenade, maybe to bait out a Toxic Babe, maybe to rush in for a plant. Who knows? Raps, he's ready, being able to support, but there's the Toxic Babe, as was expected from the smoke. Zach's going to have to hit them on the backside. BNX, oh, almost finds a second, but it's only one. Zach will find his single kill onto the man in reception, but it's still a 1 versus 2 that he has to clutch up against. Doesn't have diffuser, only knows where one of them is at the moment. Has no idea that Liquid is looking above. Will open up a soft wall. Zach looking to push in towards Patrick. Liquid punches a hole above. Maybe try and scare him away. Maybe try and find a kill. A Bulletproof will give out the information, know exactly where he is. And Raps plays the bomb chassis to the best of his ability. MIBR will win that round. INTZ almost clawing at an opportunity, but not having it. MIBR take no slack.
Not looking to make the same mistake 2 rounds in a row. You could see there was a lot more certainty behind the movements there from Lukid and Raps. They were not taking any chances whatsoever. They've already been in a situation where they had an advantage and it has slipped through their fingers. And as such, they played that one a lot more passively. There was still opportunity there for Zach, and I think if he'd have pathed a little bit differently, maybe if he'd have gone and tried to challenge onto the breaching round hole that he made, or maybe walk through the kitchen doorway, there could have been a little bit of opportunity to split those engagements up, but time was also not on his side. A welcome round there for MIBR to take us into double bar for their next location. All square at 2 rounds apiece. No clear winner here, and I think something that's been maybe a little bit refreshing considering the games that we've had up until this point, Demo, there's been no clear side favoritism. Both teams here managing to find an equal share of the round so far.
Yeah, Coastline, we've seen 5-1s, 4-2s. Obviously, I look at the Team 1 game that we've seen against W7, and that was a 5-1 kind of side. So, yeah, it is good to see both of them really staying level-headed. A 3-3 split would be really interesting to see. I don't know then who would maybe fancy the defense or the attack. Maybe then he kind of would maybe fancy MIBR if they manage to perform big on the attacking phase. But we'll see how the 2 rounds play out for MIBR. I mean, a 4-2 and Coastline defense is usually pretty unheard of at the moment, Ollie, so it would be massive if MIBR pull away that kind of scoreline, so pressure on it, I would feel. Yeah,
I would agree. I think there's still got to be some element of the attack has seen a bit of favour here, so we'll see how these next couple of rounds go. INTZ really struggled recently with that opening pick. It isn't something that they've been able to find in the last couple of rounds. MIBR have taken a much more aggressive defensive stance here and are heavily contesting. Philippox is now being assisted as well, as he has a little bit of support here on either side. Redux playing inside of security. Of course, with the site being blue bar, they're not far away from a nice little rotation. Redux just going for a little peek there, and Zach going to give the game away. Everybody knows where Zach is at the moment. Philippox feeling that heat from above. Going to go for a C4, but it won't be successful. Lukin and Redux now, they have to try and come in big. They have to try and assist Philippox downstairs in office, as the pressure really is starting to mount, but INTZ are just being held at bay here.
It's really struggling with dealing with the roam game, and it is surprising considering that they do have a Jackal, but maybe that's where MIBR and their ban onto the Lion was a genius ban. You could say Philippox swings with a shotgun and will find a kill onto Zach, maybe trying to play the verticals from below. Trunks himself is looking and fishing, but no! Philippox gets the down onto the Sophia. He is causing INTZ a heck of a load of problems, Ollie. How are INTZ going to recover from this?
Philippox with the drive.
Never mind.
Well, there it is. Vitz, he picks himself up too. With Drunks being recovered, it now gives the advantage back over toward INTZ. They've still got 50 seconds left, which, in the context of how long they've been taking to execute, is quite a bit of time here for INTZ to work with. They've been in no rush by any stretch of the imagination. Raps with a great kill there onto Drunks, finishing him off. He only needed to land one bullet or so, and he has done just exactly that. So now everything level. A score count of a man count of 3-3. Utility is now being burned, but the Toxic Babe canisters can come into play. Vertical control gonna be contested for, but there's still information here available for MIBR, and they just to check if anyone's at the bottom of Cool Vibes, but won't be successful. 10 seconds now remain. Hornetow is looking to try and cover the cross as Vitz pushes his way on in. Does he know that Fowles is going to be playing behind the chassis? No, the answer is going to be no. Philippox finds one onto VNX, but again, in the way that most of these defensive rounds have gone for MIBR, time will do the rest. No need to thirst after those kills. The diffuser cold on top of the bar.
Oh, that's a rough round for INTZ. Start off pretty disarray for them. Losing one player and then getting the Sophia down from another, and you're sitting there thinking, oh, well, how do you get back from this one? And then all of a sudden 2 kills out of nowhere. MIBR just gift them the kills. And probably at that stage, that's where I think INTZ, they should have just switched on. They should have went as fast as they could, play off that momentum, but they just took too long, and that's where the timing started to hinder them. Then we seen a bit of sloppy droning, not droning the bomb site, not knowing that the smoke was close to that window, and from there, I mean, you see what happened. So, yeah, just INTZ missing a few fundamentals that you would like to expect from this team, but just not happening for them. Finally seen Hooker, though.
Finally, on the last round of the defense for MIBR, they are going to bring something out a little bit different. And still chance for that 4-2 split for MIBR, which on the defense would be it would be quite the momentum giver for them. We were favoring them coming into this game, but they've certainly had a rocky start. And they've pulled the socks up since those couple of early rounds that didn't go their way. And now we're seeing a much more aggressive MIBR, especially in the early part of the round. The way that they are contesting zones and entrance points on the map is pretty commendable. Back to back and often doing it together, it is causing INTZ a lot of problems, and hence that using a lot of time, especially considering this is Coastline. You don't always expect teams to be using every single second, with INTZ just coming up against so many obstacles in the early parts of the round.
Big round for INTZ. This is a round that they need to have, all. If they go 4-2 down on Coastline attack, that's gonna be very terrifying against MIBR and their attacks yesterday in Cafe. Look pretty damn good. So, INTZ, they need to have an even scoreline going into the next half. See if they can do it on the hookah attack. MIBR, maybe is this a reason why they've held this back for so long? Is we catch them by surprise, or INTZ ready for this attack? Seeing Twitch come in. Great operator at the moment, can eliminate a lot of utility with the new features through her Twitch drone where she can jump now. It gives a little bit more movement, get the Twitch drone into easier locations, and of course that infinite stun range is great for sniping objectives very far away from the drone. MIBR have to be careful for that. See how INTZ wants to deal with this roam game that is once again extending over towards the VIP all in.
Again, so much of the time has disappeared out of this round.
And they've got nothing.
And INTZ have just got nothing to show for it. We've still got players on rappel, we've got players on the roof. MIBR are kind of getting a little bit itchy at this point, thinking, where is this push going to start to come from? Felipox finds one. Zach, a great trade-off onto Redux. He didn't get too much vision there onto Redux, but was able to successfully land a couple of shots. It isn't necessarily the kill that you want to be getting at this point, but honestly, beggars can't be choosers, and the INTZ have to take anything they can here. Still in the drones and still trying to gather that intel, and they've got plenty of drones to be going at. But at this point, they really ought to know where the majority of people are, and there's still some unknown entities out there. Lukid is one of them. Zach, he's going to hit the drop. He actually has a Z ping to work from here. He's going to give the game away, just pre-firing a little bit too early. Vitz decides to dip on out. He hasn't got the time to be chasing the shadow that is Lukid here, and neither does Zach. A plant needs to come through here now for INTZ. Otherwise, they are going to run out of time once again. Drunks, he's going to push his way through into VIP. Does have a player on the 90, which is easily taken care of as Lukid is caught looking the wrong way. Felipox in with the trade, finds two, a big C4 from Raps, and that all but seals the deal. Hornetal left desperately wanting in sight, but he too will be shut down. MIBR a 4-2 split here on the defense.
Time. That is all you can say about INTZ. Their time management has not been good this game at all. We looked at it, was a minute gone and or a minute left. There was nothing. They had no control of a single room. The utility was still out in abundance by MIBR. Just, yeah, I don't know what's happening with INTZ. I don't know what they're doing within that first 2 minutes. I'm really not sure. So, anyway, we're going to have a 4-2 split for MIBR. That is massive for them. 4-2 defense, huge. And now they get to go in the attack. Looking at the bans that MIBR went for, they went for the Maestro ban. So I think that's an opera that we've seen featured quite heavily in Liquid NIP. It was actually a reason why I think we've seen Liquid win around, was because of a Maestro cam. Strong operator. I think MIBR, they're banning that away. That's probably telling me that they want a little bit more time to play with. They might try and take it a little bit slow.
Certainly could be an opportunity for MIBR to take the time with these rounds. They already have a significant advantage.
I mean, Inflops are kind of shot in the foot, aren't they? You know, no Maestro, no Valkyrie. There's nobody really else apart from like a bulletproof camera who can really make up for that.
You got Hornetal bringing the Mozzie, so he's going to have the pests, but again, it's not a guarantee.
Yes,
it's not like throwing 3 Valkyrie cameras out there and going, yep, we have 3 pieces of information. It's like, yeah, I got a few pests.
Oh, he just got one, though.
Maybe. But even still, it's a tough thing to be relying on here. It isn't that much of a problem. You should know roughly where people are going to be coming in from, especially when they announce themselves like that. Redux is able to shut down Hornetal. Aussie Pest or not, it will not be a factor here, and already INTZ have to pay a little bit of attention to what's going on beneath them as that early control has been lost.
And also speaking about beneath, there are a lot of nades on the side of MIBR, and they can certainly try and use the vertical destruction that you can gain, maybe going towards the kitchen and try and nade some of the players out inside of VIP. That's definitely a possibility. And the fact that MIBR do have that downstairs control, it is going to be massive for them. It obviously gives them, like I said, that option for the nades, but it also eliminates anyone going below for C4s, which you can see that's literally what Redux is trying to do, is sit and wait for anyone to come downstairs with a C4. Look at him, just waiting for them.
It's not the most active position in the world, but if it's going to net you an important kill later on into the round, then
I mean, they can afford it. They have a man advantage.
could be worth doing, but still time slipping away here. Luca going to be occupying that roof space. Greatly reduced opportunity there from the roof, given the rework to the way that this map now plays and some of the structural changes that it has seen. The roof is not the kill haven that it once was, and as such the defenders are a little bit safer making those rotations. Redux still going to be playing that vertical game. He's trying to search out anybody that could be over inside of that theatre side. Zach looking to make himself a couple of pre-fire options for later on, a couple of naughty murder holes that he maybe could make use of. MIBR have really stalled out on this attack. Fleepox now just sending the Rotero drone in. He's going to try and destroy an utility and gather a bit of information. He's actually going to destroy the wall, so it gives a nice line of sight, a further angle on in. It means that the pressure now is going to be coming on to Drunks even more so, Demo, as he's just been droned.
Oh, VNX ready for the double window repel from Reduct, and I'm really confused about what MIBR are trying to cook up right now. They've decided to try and push in towards Peter, which is pretty unheard of, but then again, they've got the nades to back it up. They've got one kill. Zach and Vitz all jump onto the kill feed and leaves Luke in a 1v2. He's in double window. No hope for that one. INTZ take a very easy round. They sit back, they relax, and MIBR really just stumble over themselves.
It's not a great sight for MIBR, whether it's on the attack or on the defense. It seemed like not quite a done deal, but they had a lot of things going for them and a lot of things working in their favor there. But, and again, we saw the power of the double window right toward the end. It was still winnable right up until the end.
I just question, why would they go for a fear take? I mean, first of all, they're not bringing hard breach, which sure, you can play Coastline without the hard breach, and we've seen that since the dawn of time on Coastline. But it is strange to see them go for the fear, because you kind of need to have hard breach to attack that side of the map, because you need to open up that double reinforced wall towards the vein stairs. A lot of teams, if you're not bringing the hard breach, that's where VIP can be great, because you can push from Puka, you can push from Billards, down in towards 9, equally out at VIP. You've mentioned double window, that's always going to be a great place to put somebody. It is strange to see them try and opt for something that just makes life a lot more difficult for them.
Well, let's see how MIBR choose to take on the challenge that is going to be round number 8. Still one round ahead, but that lead is narrowed by a round. And well, with the way that INTZ played that last round, they showed really good patience. And despite not having a good opening round, they were very happy to just rely on those gunfights. And it's something that INTZ have done consistently well throughout the course of the day so far, is be able to win those gunfights when things get a little bit scrappy on time. And MIBR, in contrast, have looked a little bit disorientated in those moments. With the way that a lot of these attacking rounds have been playing out so far, the time really is just an issue for both sides here. MIBR won a lot of their defensive rounds on time, and so far INTZ have picked up their first on the very same win condition.
Okay. Let's see how the hooker's going to play out. MIBR once again trying to get into the building as early as they can by Redux hand, but Hornetal has something to say about him this time. He will find that first pick. Big blunder from MIBR. Nobody there for the refrag also. That gives INTZ a bit of a freebie kill. Literally see that Hornetal is taking no damage also. So it literally is free. It is free real estate, Ollie. Get it while it's up.
Drunks has an opportunity here. He knows the barbed wire has just been taken out as Luca dips on back out of there. It's just something that really is going to be playing on Drunks' mind now, knowing that there's the potential for a crouch walk up those cool vibe stairs with no audio indication. Fleepox is going to try and gather a little bit of information of his own and most likely destroy that deployable shield. It is going to at least get the mute jammer. I believe the shield as well, as the push does come through. Drunks is going to rip the C4. It didn't quite land how he would have liked. And as such, he isn't going to deal any damage out. Instead, he takes a load. The ADSs will recover over time, so if nades do come up from Lukid, you should be safe. But Drunks' moments are most certainly numbered here. Another Retero drone flies in to try and find that information out. MIBR really throwing everything they can at the top of Cool Vibes, and eventually Drunks is taken on out. Before Raps gets downed in process, though.
This is a very desperate attempt from MIBR. They're trying a direct hookah and Cool Vibes take, but you need to win the gunfights for this to happen, and that's not always going to be a guarantee. MIBR being slaughtered as they try and push in towards the bomb site. INTZ, they've done very well to win their engagements. You have to highlight Zach holding down that staircase to the best visibilities, and it's pretty much stopped all the momentum that MIBR tried to build up. Fowls is going to try and take up that same position, but then even still, Vix is in a great spot to try and get that refrag. Fowls will find one, a second one almost lines up. VNX takes a lot of damage, runs out of ammunition, and VNX will punish him for that. INTZ, another round where all they had to do was sit back, and MIBR's almost beat themselves again.
Dear, oh dear. What a one-dimensional push from MIBR.
It's desperate. That's desperation at its finest. That is where you look at each other and you think, what do we do? Oh, let's just try this. You know what it is literally just, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's all that is. And it just looked as if they didn't care if it did. If they didn't care if it didn't, they'll move on. It's
sad to see. I mean, we got a biased perspective of it because we didn't really see what was going on elsewhere. But there wasn't, to my mind, a great deal of pressure coming in toward the aquarium side of things. It wasn't somewhere that was sort of heavily vied for. Typically, you need to be pushing hookah billiards from both sides. You need that presence in aquarium, and likely that's where you're going to be getting the plant off as well, right next to the bomb chassis, and easily able to dip out the double door. You could have somebody on the big rappel or out on the ruins, and then you can have somebody inside of hookah, and that's really it. You know, it doesn't require Cool Vibe stairs control all the time. Nades can do the job there. Hard breach can do a job there to remove the player from being able to sit on bars. None of those options are things that MIBR are looking to explore. We regularly talk about how you don't need a hard breach on Coastline, but I'm still shocked to not see them bring a Hibana. I think the value that one Hibana can have, and when I say one Hibana, I mean one set of Excaros pellets, it can be huge on this map.
Yeah. Again, I think the hard breach, it is quite big in some circumstances. Sure, it's maybe not like the overall arching factor of why teams win and lose a round, but it would help. Which I think is like the thing that MIBR need is a little bit of help. They're relying very heavily on a gun-focused lineup. You look at the operators they're bringing. We're seeing a Sledge with an LA. We're seeing the Twitch. We're seeing the Iana. Those are all free operators that you would consider, you know, big heavy hitters, big entry star operators. So, I mean, if they're relying on the gun skills, they need to back it up, or else we'll sit here if they lose this match and we'll sit there and think, oh, well, they didn't win their gunfights. That is it. That's their whole strategy, is to win gunfights. If they're not doing that, get a new strategy.
I think a lot of it is coming down to the gunfights as well, and it's a bit weird and a bit of a shame to see MIBR struggling in that regard. We're seeing a bit of aggression this time as Lukid, he's almost said enough is enough. Hornetower with a very extended run out. He's actually going to go for it again. Gets himself caught out as Fowls actually hits him with the Nomad air jab. What is going on? That's probably some of the messiest siege we've seen all weekend so far. Both players walk out alive.
Ran out 4 times and he's still alive. I mean, both players are still alive, which is probably the most surprising thing about that engagement. So kitchen control is going to be in firm hands of MIBR, which is, you know, as we know, a great staging ground that really separates Sunrise and Blue Bar away from each other. Nobody can use in towards the jungle area of the map, in towards the 90. That's all dead. That is complete dead zone. It's know that now. Now we look at MIBR and how do they capitalize on what they've been given. Not very well, though, as Zach out of nowhere with a double kill. The kitchen, it was in firm hands. There's no hands, they've been shot off.
A big swing of advantage there for INTZ. Zach stepping up once again and fulfilling that role as an out-and-out fragger. And if you thought that MIBR looked a little bit lost in the previous round, we'll just take a look at their positioning here and now. 35 seconds left, and still a plan needs to be generated here. They've got one nade to try and work off. Raps has that in his hand as he pushes through. He's got a bit of information as well. Zach, he is going to be shut down as Felipox pushes on in, hopping in that kitchen window as Raps was approaching as well. So kitchen control has been gained, and that's great. Fowls is now looking to try and find a pick on into sight. Flashbangs are going to come through. Does the nade follow suit? Drunks is going to be laid prone. As Felipox, he's going to hop over the bar. He's able to find a kill as well. Fouls a second. The plant's going down, which extends the time. And VNX is now in the clutch situation. He needs one kill. He needs a kill onto the planter. But the plant has been confirmed. Fouls, he's going to find that final kill. And MIBR salvage the round.
Don't even know how they pulled that one off. Just a sheer brute force execute. And it's worked. I said, if their whole strategy was to get kills, how reliable is that? And from the past 2 rounds, they didn't show us that that was reliable. To be fair, I'm going to take it back all. I'm going to eat my own words, and all credit to them. They pushed in, they won their engagements, and they won the round.
They did that time, but still it wasn't clean, and it was, you know, it relied very heavily on adapting and generating that plan as the round was going on because of how badly things went for them in the opening part. And if the plant hadn't gone down, well, you know, that would have been a different story entirely. You could ask a question and say that INTZ maybe lacked a little bit of denial in that round. They didn't have anything to, you know, burn up that last 20 seconds when things were getting really tight for MIBR. And had they had that, it could have been a little bit of a difference maker. MIBR once again retake the lead here. They're going to be attacking upstairs into Penthouse and Theatre. Previously, when they attacked here, they went for a Theatre take, which we highlighted at the time as being a little bit strange. It's not something that we've seen yet over the course of this weekend on the new map, or the new iteration, should I say, of Coastline. Instead, a lot of the pressure and focus has been paid toward that VIP, and later on toward the round onto that double window. We'll see if MIBR go for the same tactic here and now. But again, choosing this time to bring that hard breacher as opposed to the Flores actually could be a little bit of a difference maker. Felipox has, up until this point, pretty much exclusively been playing Flores. Now, I got a bit debated because I saw the same red in the icon and didn't pay enough attention to the fact that he's actually switched over onto the Havana.
Yep.
This could be a bit of a game changer.
Yeah, I think they've realized that the likelihood of INTZ going back up to VIP is certainly a big one. So they've realized that the big reason why they didn't win the last round was they just didn't have the hard breach. They tried to force the push that you kind of need to have hard breach for. Now they've rectified that. It looks as if they're going to play out the kind of same way, or you're reduct in that same position below in towards blue, looking to stop anyone go below with C4s, cut off rotations, do whatever he needs to do. So MIBR more than likely will attempt the same strategy. MIBR, I think this is a very important round, because if they get 6-4, obviously that's going to be a point secured for them. But I think they set themselves up incredibly well. They kind of have a buffer zone to then take this map. You give INTZ, I think, a bit of an inch here, and they go 5-5. They will then get another hookah defense to defend. That could be scary for MIBR to deal with.
INTZ have seen a bit of chip damage early on, as Zach and Hornetow both sit at less than half health. Felipox looking to push on through. Does get chipped, and Hornetow actually confirms finding a kill over onto Redux. Raps is there with the instant trade, but we've got Zach. He's going to be sat on drinks. The nade comes through, and he knows that somebody's going to be pushing through, but gets caught looking the wrong way. Raps finds himself too, as Vitz pops himself up behind the deployable shield. And Raps hits him like a whack-a-mole, knocking him back down. VNX and Drunks, they have a lot to hold on to, and a minute to do so with. This is a very pressuring situation to be in.
This is a scary situation for INTZ now. Their 90 VIP hold is completely shattered thanks to Raps. Some great shots. MIBR, they can slow the round down to their own pace, and they can play it how fast or how slow they want. They know they're in the driving seat. If they still have one man on rooftop, that could be a rotate onto that double window and simply cut off anything that Drunks wants to try and do in that position. Felipox will make a push in towards Hall of Fame. Oh, the crossfire hit him on both angles, and Fouls will swing in also to finish off the remaining player. MIBR, a great round. I think Raps, a big round of applause for what he did inside of that round.
Raps really hit his shots there and he made them count. Puts MIBR onto a match point. They've finally been able to generate that 2-round lead that they had at the split here when they moved on to the attacking side. They came out at 4-2 and it's taken up until this point for them to regain those 2 rounds as an advantage. And now they sit on that match point. Kind of one of the stranger things about that round is we talked about the importance of Felipox bringing the Hibana, but it wasn't actually... It didn't really mean all too much because all the work was done by Raps essentially when he was able to clean up that trade and pick himself up a couple of kills. So although the operator, they won the round when they brought Ivana, they didn't actually need to use that utility because they actually achieved something that they've been working on doing for the course of this game, and that is to win those gunfights and actually get out there and just get the kills. And in that round they were able to do just exactly that.
Kitchen time for INTZ. Now they are on dire straits. They have to have 2 perfect rounds. Keep themselves in this matchup and push it to OT. MIBR now, they have a bit of a buffer early. They have a safety net. They can throw around if they want to. They still are in the lead. But knowing MIBR, Ollie, they'll want to come in and they'll do it this round. Kitchen. Seems as if MIBR, they've kind of got their head screwed on. The opening start of their attacks were pretty poor, but now they've won 2 in a row. They have good confidence. Their gun skill is working for them. They're hitting the shots when they need to. How will Kitchen fare?
MIBR have certainly switched on in the last couple of rounds, and this early round has been terrifying. They've been very quick. Happy to drone something, take that control, really single out those players on INTZ that they want to try and focus on. And Luke has been a key part of that puzzle. Him and Felipox are now going to be droning out that main lobby area, and Zach does get caught out. There's still going to be a drone hanging around that moves on through into bathroom. Felipox now knows that somebody is likely going to be in there, and Zach can start to feel a little bit of this pressure. He even gets pushed all the way out, gets caught out on the rotation. That is textbook Roma manipulation there from MIBR. They're able to force Zach into a position where he is unable to do anything and take him on out. Again, opening advantage here going toward MIBR.
Another approach from MIBR where they are just spread out everywhere. Still a good roam presence from INTZ, but I'm not sure if they're aware that there is a man inside of Blue Bar and also a man outside of Sauna, so I think VNX inside of Sunrise is going to be in for a bit of a rude awakening. I don't know if anyone's going to be giving him help or maybe try and support him. It looks as if Drunks will creep up close towards that kitchen door, and you also have 1 man on the Cool Vibe stairs. Luke is aware of that, though. It's only a matter of time. MIBR just have to do a simple push. They have the Dokumi calls going out. Is anyone going to capitalize and follow up? Yes, they will. Reduct is going to be on the other side of the Sauna door, and that will give him enough of an advantage to eliminate VNX. INTZ in bad form. 3 versus 5 that they have to clutch up. They've lost their control of the bottom floor. All they have is top floor, but MIBR happy enough to give that away to INTZ. Hornatao, what are you doing? Drops down into his immediate death. And INTZ, this looks as if it's all over for you boys, unless MIBR have a massive slip-up, but with the form that they're on, it doesn't look like it. Fouls will spot out Vitz. Unlucky not to kill him, but it doesn't matter. Sight is in full control of MIBR. They know exactly where Vitz is, and he has to have a miracle of a gun skill match to finish this one up for INTZ. MIBR will successfully get down that diffuser. It's only a matter of time now. Will he drop down into his demise? Yes, he will. Never mind, Felipox actually kills him from the hatch. MIBR take the win. Scary at times, Ollie, but still come out the victors.
MIBR 2 for 2 on the weekend. They're able to pick up a full 6 points. I'm going to be the only team to do that given the draws that we saw yesterday. So they have started off stage 3 in the best possible fashion. Back at full strength and proving it time again. Nice to see Felipox top of the tree there as well.